What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the That's Debatable podcast. How are y'all doing, man? It's been a while. It feels like I took a week off, but it feels like I haven't been here in a year. Um, wow, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's only been a week, but it feels like I said, it feels like it's been a year. I haven't been here in a minute. Had to take a week off to take care of some things, but I am back. Your boy's back. Did y'all miss me? No, that's fine. Um, but yo, we got a lot of things to get into today. We got some things to cover. We got the play-in tournament starting tomorrow. So we're gonna be covering that. We had WWE Backlash last night, which we're gonna be starting off with talking about that, and then we'll get into basketball. I think we got all basketball today, really, except with the exception of WWE at the beginning. But yeah, you already know, you already know. I didn't forget my intro, my self promotion. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. For my Instagram, guys, it's my link in bio. For my Facebook, guys, it's on my feed. Turn post notifications on all three platforms so you're up to date with all the videos. Go follow my Twitter, TheRealJTK. I should put that in my bio as well. But yeah, we're going to get straight into it. I haven't been here in a while, man. Come on. Anyway, so first thing that we're going to be going over today is last night we had WWE Backlash. Now I know we got a couple WWE fans in here, and some that don't watch WWE at all. But so for that reason, we're just gonna cover WWE first. So we started the night off on the kickoff show with He said it wasn't a United States Championship match, but they considered it one still. So a U.S. title match, Sheamus versus Ricochet. I was really confused whether this was a title match or not, but I guess it was. Um, Sheamus retained by pinfall. Ricochet attacked Sheamus after the match. Uh, it's good to see that Ricochet is getting a title shot, right? This is a guy that I don't want to see be used as a jobber, right? I don't want Ricochet to end up like a Heath Slater per se, right? And no offense to Heath Slater, but they used him terribly. We all know that he was used as a jobber. It's a shame it wasn't with any momentum though on his side, like whatsoever. There's no momentum. Obviously he came up short here. But obviously there was him, walking backstage after he humiliated Sheamus and was like, "Oh, this isn't over." I was hoping for Keith Lee to be the surprise challenger. Per usual, I'm also wishing WWE would go back to having a full card setup and, not just things randomly on the spot like that. But, that's WWE for you. And how they've been doing things recently on the past pay-per-views. So, yeah, it was a pretty decent match. I'm not mad at it. It gets a thumbs up from me. Then, on the main show, we kicked the night off with the Raw Women's Championship triple threat match. Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair. Rhea Ripley retained by pinfall. Very good match with the best outcome. That's what I have to say about that, because I knew that it wasn't gonna resolve in Rhea Ripley pinning Charlotte. I knew that wasn't gonna happen, even though I wished it did, because we've seen these two been going at each other for about a year, pretty much now. They've had beef for over a year. They've been continuing this storyline, and I'm obviously talking about Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. So yeah, we get all that they've been continuing this, but I really wished it would have been Rhea Ripley pinning Charlotte Flair, so she didn't have to use Asuka as an excuse, which she's probably going to do tonight on Raw. Then it's going to go into another rematch. The next pay-per-view is actually Hell in a Cell. I thought it was going to be Money in the Bank or Extreme Rules. But yeah, so that was that. It was a pretty good match. I wasn't mad at it. Me saying it's the best outcome is kind of sad for me to say, because I hate it when Asuka loses. I'm a really big fan of Asuka. The right calls were made, and the action was great from start to finish. I enjoyed it. Gets a thumbs up from me as well. Next, we had the Smackdown Tag Team Championship match at Dirty Dogs versus Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. Dominic and Rey won the titles by pinfall. Not the most amazing match in the world, but it was booked well. It was booked rather well. It's a shame that this didn't take place at WrestleMania in front of a crowd. But I am glad that they won the titles. I was really hyped when they won it because, it's history. They made history, and I'm proud of them. I posted on my story that Eddie Guerrero would be proud because he would. Dominic hit the frog splash, and obviously Eddie Guerrero, the godfather of Dominic Mysterio, growing up and stuff like that. So he would have been proud. He would have, he would have really enjoyed that. And, I'm pretty sure he's looking down, and, really proud. Next, we had the lumberjack match. Damian Priest versus The Miz. Damian Priest won by pinfall. Now, this was it was weird. Having zombies as lumberjacks was different. It was different. I didn't hate it as much as everyone else. But I can see why people are just looking at this as stupid and embarrassing. Because it is stupid and embarrassing, right? Obviously they had Damian Priest and The Miz teaming up at one point and attacking the zombies and all that stuff, but and also John Morrison escaped. I don't want to see them separate. I don't want to see The Miz and John Morrison separate just yet. Obviously, John Morrison would be a good singles competitor, and The Miz is obviously a good singles competitor. But I just don't want to see them split up right now. I don't think now is the best time to do it. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. But next, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Bianca Belair retained by pinfall. It wasn't as good as I was expecting, to be honest with you. It wasn't bad, but by the time the match was done, I was writing down these notes. I forgot most of it, but, by the time it was over, like I said, I forgot most of it. It was just meh and generic. It wasn't special at all. It was just generic. This is like in your house level. That's what it was. Next, we had I'm actually surprised they went to the two main title fights to close off the show, because usually they'll do like WWE title to kick off the show and then the Universal title at the main event. But they actually did this, which I was surprised, and I'm glad they did. But next we have the WWE Championship Triple Threat match: Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. Lashley retained by pinfall by pinning Strowman. My reaction was meh. It was yeah. The only real highlight of the match that stood out to me was the spot with McIntyre throwing Lashley into the LED stage, which was timed perfectly, by the way. Perfectly timed. Other than that, though, it was just a generic match. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't special. That's all I got to say about that one. It was a decent match. Though, yeah, like I said, the only the only thing that I got out of the match was the LED spot. But next we had the Universal Championship match: Roman Reigns versus Cesaro, and the main event. Roman Reigns retains by pinfall. Good match. It was a good match. It was booked well, especially for Cesaro in a loss. I really liked it. Yeah, I didn't mind this match at all. Probably, people would say match of the night. I can't fully disagree with you. In my opinion, probably. But also there was the Raw Women's Championship Triple Threat. A lot of people are saying the Bobby Lashley match, like I said just now, it was generic for me. It was a generic Triple Threat for me. But yeah, now we're gonna get into wow, first day back and I can't talk. But now we're gonna get into some basketball. We got the WWE over with. Oh my goodness, I think I might take another week break, y'all. But so first basketball question of the day, and we're going basketball throughout the whole day, throughout the whole podcast. So if you like basketball, you come to the right place. First question. Who will be more dangerous in Warriors versus the Lakers? Will it be Steph or will it be LeBron? I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm going with Steph here. I'm going with Steph, no doubt, because, look, the way that this man has been looking over, this season is ridiculous. This guy's averaging 31 points. He's shooting over 44% from the field, shooting about 42% from three-point range. I mean, what can you say? This guy's putting up MVP numbers. He should win MVP. He even said it himself. He should win MVP, but he probably won't because of where his team stands right now. It's probably going to end up being Jokic or something like that. But I think it'll be Steph Curry that's going to be the more dangerous in this matchup, because this man's on another level. When you talk about the greatest shooter that God ever created, and I say it multiple times, and I'll say it again. He's the greatest shooter that God ever created. Period. And when you think of a guy that you should be fearing, that you should be literally shaking in your boots because of, it is Steph Curry. Because you should not be able to, if there's a guy that you should be losing sleep over the night before you play him, it is Steph Curry because of what this guy does on the offensive side of the ball. I think he's probably the best offensive player this season because of what he does from three-point land and how, he gets to the basket as well. He does get to the basket. It's a really underrated part of his game, but he can get to the basket. So it's gonna be Steph Curry. Obviously, LeBron, he's gonna do what he does. He's gonna do what LeBron does, right? This guy's been averaging about 25 and 7. I get all that, but he's the best player in basketball right now. He's the best player on planet Earth right now, but he's not the greatest shooter on planet Earth. That happens to be Steph Curry, and that is why he's going to be the most dangerous in this matchup. Next question. Who's more important to the Nets? Is it KD or James Harden? It's Kevin Durant, and I say Kevin Durant. I've been saying this multiple times, and the amount of times that I've answered this question, because some people that are joining right now probably heard me answer this question before, but I'm going to answer it again. It's Kevin Durant. And look, James Harden, there's no doubt that this guy is one of the best scorers that we've ever seen. People are looking at him as probably the best scorer. I'm not going to go as far that far yet. But he is up there. He is definitely up there. And we get it before he got hurt. He was a top MVP candidate. We get all that. But Kevin Durant, without Kevin Durant, this Nets team is not getting out of the Eastern Conference Finals. They're not getting out of the East, sorry. I will get into that later. I'll get into that question later. Probably after this question, actually. But I think, like I was saying, I think it's Kevin Durant because without him, they're not coming out of the East. I think Kevin Durant just needs one of them, Harden or Kyrie, right? With all three of them, I think they can win the championship. They should be the favorites. Nobody should be able to beat them with all three of them there. But obviously, with only two of them go to the finals, it'll be more of a competitive matchup. But like I said, if all three of them are there, they should win the chip. But who's more important to the Nets? It's Kevin Durant, without a doubt. This guy, when you talk about the best offensive player in the game today, probably look at what this guy does. The ball handling with the 7-foot wingspan, the shooting, he can shoot from the parking lot. I mean, this guy can do it all. One of the best mid-range scorers in the game today. I mean, athletic. After an 18-month layoff, this guy came and was averaging 30. This guy was an MVP candidate before he went down again. I mean, he's on another level. He is more important to the Brooklyn Nets. There's no doubt about it. Who do I think is going to win the play-in tournament, playing game, Warriors vs. Lakers? It's going to be tough. They're going to go at each other. I might have to take the Lakers to come out just because I'm a Lakers fan. I don't want to see them out of the playoffs. I'm going to take the Lakers. But Steph isn't a joke. I was just talking about it. Steph is no joke. He is no joke whatsoever. And he's going to bring it. Steph Curry's going to bring it to the Los Angeles Lakers. He's not going to go down without a fight. I mean, this brother is probably going to drop 50 on these guys. And the Lakers got to be prepared for it because, the perimeter defense of the Los Angeles Lakers isn't the greatest. It is not the greatest. And then when you got a guy like Steph Curry, and it's killing me right now because I'm a Lakers fan just thinking about it. When you got a guy like Steph Curry that can pull up as soon as he crosses half court, I mean, it doesn't get more dangerous than that. Like I said, I was just talking about this. If there's a guy that you should be losing sleep over the night before you play him, it's Steph Curry. So next question. We had the NBA Hall of Fame this past weekend. And a couple of athletes, a couple of NBA guys were saying this is the best Hall of Fame class ever. So the question is it the best Hall of Fame class ever? And I'm going to say yes. I think it's the best Hall of Fame class ever. Obviously, people look at the Michael Jordan class with Stockton and them. But I think this is the one right here. And I'll tell you guys why. Kobe Bryant, 18 All-Star appearances, 11 first-team All-NBA, and 5 championships. Tim Duncan, 5 championships also, 15 All-Star appearances, 10 first-team, first All-NBA first team. Kevin Garnett, 1 NBA title, 15 All-Star appearances, and 10 first team all sorry, 4 first team all nominations. In total, that's 11 championships, 48 All-Star appearances, and 25 first team appearances. That there should do it. Because, I mean, look at these. And you also got to take in the other guys that got inducted as well. But LeBron was saying this is the best big three that's gotten drafted. I have to agree with him. I got to agree with him because this is... I just brought up the numbers right there. 11 championships, 48 All-Star appearances, 25 first team in total from these three. I mean, when you talk about Kobe Bryant, when it comes to the sizzle, obviously Tim Duncan, they lose that one because Tim Duncan, he was born to be a winner. He had that mindset just to win. He didn't really want to show off or anything like that. Kobe Bryant did have that sizzle though. He had a little bit of that sizzle. Obviously Kevin Garnett with that trash talking on all that stuff. We get all that, but he had a little bit of sizzle as well. It was just Tim Duncan who really didn't have that because he just wanted to win. And, we know guys like that. They just want to win. But I think this is the best Hall of Fame class ever that we've ever seen. And there's, the numbers show it. I mean, the numbers win it here. This is 3 of the best guys that's been drafted in the same class. And I mean, when we're gonna get into Vanessa's speech later in the show, but man, this draft class when I saw it is probably, and I'm not the only one saying this. Everyone, like I said, LeBron, other athletes are saying this, and I gotta agree with them. This is the best Hall of Fame class ever. It doesn't get more simple than that. How far can the Knicks go in the playoffs? I think they'll win the first round game. I think they're gonna beat the Hawks. I'm rooting for them. I am rooting for them because. Look, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I like the Knicks. I do like the Knicks. I'm a Lakers fan, obviously. But look, I got family in New York. That makes me I got family in New York, man. I can't let them down. The Knicks can't let them down. So yeah, man, I'm rooting for the Knicks here. I hope they beat the Hawks. I think they will beat the Hawks. It might take them 7 games, but I think the Knicks are gonna win it. They might get eliminated in probably 4 the next round though to the Philadelphia 76ers, but that's fine. Who's more pressure on? Is more pressure on the 76ers or the Bucks? It's the Bucks without a doubt because look, the Milwaukee Bucks the 76ers. Obviously, we get Ben Simmons, needs to develop a jump shot. We get a Joel Embiid is coming back from injury. We get it, they got bounced out in the first round last year. But when you talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, 2 years ago, they were up 2-0 against the Toronto Raptors in the conference finals, and they lost 4 straight. Last year, you lost in 5 to the Miami Heat. So when you look at that, there's not only pressure on the Milwaukee Bucks, but Giannis and Mike Budenholzer, who's a defensive-minded coach, we get that. So. But now you have Drew Holiday. That is the difference here. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's just Drew Holiday. But Drew Holiday is somebody who shows up in playoffs. This is a guy who can make a shot when he needs to. I think this is a big pickup, and it's really gonna help the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that I don't think the Miami Heat are gonna beat them this year. I think the Milwaukee Bucks have more pressure on them. If Celtics don't make it out of the play-in tournament, should Brad Stevens be out of a job? I'm not going to say he should be fired, but he definitely should be on the hot seat. He definitely should be because, look, I've brought this up before. When you talk about the great coaches and stuff, they were able to peel the potential out of the players that they had there. They were able to peel that out of them. Brad Stevens has not been able to. He has not been able to do that. And when you have 2 young stars, one of them being a 24-year-old in Jaylen Brown, the other one being a 22-year-old in Jason Tatum. You should be an over 500 team. You should not be in this position right now. And I don't think that they're going to win this play-in game. I think they will lose. But you shouldn't be in this position right now. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. With the Celtics, I respect the hell out of this team. I mean, this team has always had a team that's been good. They've always had a good team, for the most part. But Brad Stevens, I'm not gonna say that he should be fired because I respect the hell out of this man. He's done a phenomenal job with the Boston Celtics, and over the past few years, few conference finals appearances, all that. We get all that stuff. But he should definitely be on the hot seat because you have never reached the finals. You've never reached the finals. Obviously, you reached the conference finals before, but you haven't been able to do anything. And when you have two young stars, obviously, it doesn't matter with the Kemba Walker issues or with the Marcus Smart issues. When you have two young stars like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you should be over 500. You should be showing up, and you shouldn't be in this position right now. So I think he shouldn't be fired, but he should definitely be on the hot seat. Is LeBron being sincere by saying Steph should be the MVP? There's definitely some gamesmanship here, sportsmanship, as people would say also. This is LeBron. LeBron's a nice guy. I mean, he's a humble guy. He's a nice guy to talk to. Easy to get along with, as I've heard. But I mean, there's just part of me, this is a bit of a selfish part of me here, that just wants a little bit of animosity, right? I just want a little bit of that animosity, not off the court, obviously, but on the court. Because these two go way back. Steph Curry and LeBron, these two go way back. And I think that there should be a little animosity here, not too much of this respect stuff. Obviously, the respect stuff is good. I like the sportsmanship. But when it comes to on the court, these two should be going at each other. They should be going at each other, and I'm not doubting that they won't, because LeBron James averaging 25 and 7, Curry averaging 31, and these two are gonna go at each other for sure. I feel like I said, Curry's capable of dropping 50 in this game. LeBron James and Anthony Davis coming back for this game. They're gonna both go at each other. But part of me just wants that animosity there. Part of me wants that little bit of beef on the court. Off the court, fine. I'm not telling you to go the Pat Riley extent where he didn't want, guys to be friends with certain players and all that stuff. I'm not saying to go that far. I'm just saying there should be a little bit of animosity between Steph Curry and LeBron James. It should be like, oh, I'm going to whoop your behind in this play-in tournament. That's what I want. I want that trash talk, so it just makes the game so much better because, like I said, these two guys, Steph Curry and LeBron James, they go back. These guys go back. I mean, when you talk about the finals, the back-to-back-to-back finals, matchups, I mean, there should be at least a little bit of animosity here. I mean, I get it. LeBron is saying that he should be MVP, which he should be. Like I said, he should be, but he probably won't because of where his team stands right now. But I mean, I want a little bit of beef here. I want some drama here because it's just dry right now. It's just two teams playing against each other. I just wish that, these two would just go at each other more and they would just be like, no, I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you. Something like that's how they did it back in the day. How, Michael Jordan and, against those bad boy Pistons or against the Knicks and stuff, they always trash talked even off the court. I'm not saying to go to that extent, but I'm just saying that I wish there was a little bit of animosity here. What's at stake for Russell Westbrook in these playoffs? Look, when you look at Russell Westbrook, I think that they're going to win this play-in game. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be the 8th seed. And I think they're going to get bounced out in the first round. Because, I mean, that's what I expect. I just expect that to happen. Because, and if that does happen, if Westbrook does go out in the first round, out of the four out of the past 5 years, we would see a great point guard, a phenomenal scorer, a statistical phenomenon go out in the first round. And the only time you've been out of the first round was last year with James Harden in Houston when you went up against the Lakers. Obviously, you weren't gonna beat them. We all knew that. And it just sucks for Russell Westbrook because, look, I love this guy, man. Russell Westbrook is one of my favorite players. I like the way that this guy plays. He's the most athletic point guard in NBA history, and we're being robbed of not seeing Russell Westbrook compete for a title. That is how I feel about Russell Westbrook right now, and that is how I feel about him in general. Him saying he's a champion in life, we get all that. No one's questioning that, but you're not a champion on the court. You've never won a title. You've been to one NBA Finals, and you lost, obviously, because you ran into that team. The last, deep playoff run that you made was when you were up 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors and you blew that lead when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson came back against that 73 win Warriors team. We thought you were gonna beat them, and then they ended up coming back. We get that. And you guys were the second best team in that conference. The OKC Thunder were the second best team in that conference. But I just wish that Russell Westbrook was competing for a title. I think he should be. And at what point are people going to start realizing and start talking about, not just me, when are people going to start talking about, man, Westbrook needs to start competing for a title, right? You obviously requested a he could have, like how some of these superstars did, like how James Harden did, force his way out and said, I want to go there. But he didn't do that because Russell Westbrook's not that kind of guy. He even said he's not a fan of the super teams, right? He's not a fan of that. He just wanted out of Houston, and he ended up in Washington. And I'm a fan of Bradley Beal. I'm a big, big fan of Bradley Beal. And if you guys remember, before this season, I was excited about this Wizards team. I'm like, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, this is going to be dangerous. And then this. You start off 14 games under 500, and obviously you bounce back. Kudos to them. Russell Westbrook is a statistical phenomenon. What this guy's been doing, and I don't want to hear anybody say that Washington didn't win that trade, because they did. With John Wall, they won that trade. It was a good riddance. As much as I respect John Wall, it was a good riddance for Washington. Russell Westbrook has been helping them a lot, and so has Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's been doing his thing. But I think that what's at stake for Westbrook in these playoffs is just another collapse. I think he is going to go out in the first round. I think he's going to win this play-in game. But yeah, I just don't think that I just feel that we're getting robbed of him not competing for a title, of him not watching, because when you're at home watching the playoffs along with us, then we're all like, we want Russell Westbrook. We want to see Westbrook play, but he's not gonna be there, right? So that's all what I'm talking about. So something a little more serious here. Thoughts on Vanessa Bryant's speech at Kobe's Hall of Fame induction. It was an amazing speech. An amazing speech. And it just kept reminding me of what Kobe himself would say if he was there himself. It was just heartbreaking to see her up there, and talking about Kobe and Gigi, of course. Just her talking about that tragic helicopter accident, because we were all hoping that one day we would see Kobe up there and being inducted to the Hall of Fame and him giving that speech. So it was heartbreaking to see her up there and, talking about Kobe and Kobe not there to, actually hear her talking about it. There's no doubt in my mind that he was listening. But, him not actually being there when I see her, when I see Michael Jordan there, all that stuff. This guy was a brilliant guy. Kobe Bryant was one of the smartest guys. When you think of an African American growing up in Italy, he really defied all odds. He went against everything. The way that this guy powered through adversity. This guy, they say he has the Mamba mentality for a reason, because that's exactly what it is, the Mamba mentality. And so it's really sad to see her up there and not Kobe. Obviously it was amazing. She gave an amazing speech, wonderful speech of the night probably. But one thing that I will point out, and really haven't spoke out on this, because really it's none of my business, right? It's it shouldn't be asked, but is something that I gotta bring up. Kobe Bryant had parents, a mother and a father and a sibling, a sister, and none of them were there. None of them were there, not the parents, not the sibling. And that was just questioning for me. I was just wondering why they weren't there. and that's what was going through my head. That why aren't they there, right? Obviously, Vanessa brought her up in the speech. Brought them up in the speech. They were the first people that she thanked. For bringing Kobe into this world, for raising him how he did, an intelligent man, like I said, one of the wisest guys that I've seen. I mean, this guy, when you talk, I used to listen to this motivational stuff all the time before tournaments, before practices, all that stuff. And when I was having a bad day, on the wrestling mats or the basketball court, I would listen to Kobe, right? Because his words would just move me. Um, you know, but that was just Kobe Bryant. That was Kobe, and that's what he did. That he motivated people. He pushed people to be the best. So it was a really good speech from Vanessa Bryant. Obviously, it's like I said, it's heartbreaking to see her not up there. Kobe not up there, Gigi not there. Obviously, it's one of the strongest people, Vanessa. She lost not only her husband but her daughter as well. So extremely strong that she's been, this past year. And yeah, man, it's been really hard for Vanessa, and I can imagine. I can imagine. But like I was saying, it was really confusing to me why the parents and the sibling wasn't there, the sister wasn't there, because, um, of course we should be focusing on Vanessa because she did lose her husband, but um, so, somebody lost, a kid, right? Somebody lost their son, somebody lost their brother, right? So that's what was just confusing to me. So that's what was going through my head through the Hall of Fame speech, and looking at the crowd and didn't see them. So yeah, I'm glad Vanessa did bring them up though. I'm really glad that she did. Um, but yeah, that is going to wrap it up for today. I had to, end off on that. Obviously, a bit of a more serious thing. But I'm back, y'all. I am back, and it felt good, man. It felt good to be back. I had a 30-minute podcast today. It wasn't bad, not too bad. We talked about some interesting stuff. Thank you for everybody. Oh my goodness. Thank you for everybody who tuned in today. I'm not sure if I'll be posting a YouTube video today. I might not. I got a lot of work to do. But yeah, I'll see you guys here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Take it easy, y'all. Stay cool, stay safe, and I'm gone. Take it easy.